Good morning. So today we're running around Falls Church, and I'm at some place I've wanted to see for quite a while. It's one of the 2 or 3 remaining virtual caches I have left to find in Northern Virginia.
How is this a park?
It's a park. The cornerstone. Isn't that laid down by George Washington to mark the boundaries of Washington, D.C.? No, it wasn't George Washington. It was Andrew Ellicott, a team of surveyors led by Andrew Ellicott, which one of the members was Benjamin Banneker, who is an African-American astronomer, mathematician, and author. Which at one time included the city of Alexandria. And it was once known as Alexandria, D.C. before it reverted to the state of Virginia. Check that out. There it is. Cornerstone, Washington, D.C. The original West Cornerstone. Look at that. There it is, Finn. It looks like a hunk of rock, doesn't it? What do you think, Finn? It's got something carved in it. You can still kind of read. Looks like somebody tried to chisel it away at some point. Parts of it are missing. Pretty cool. I'm gonna post like a picture of a map of where I am. And you can see, if you draw the lines, follow the border of Washington, D.C. from Virginia up into Maryland and then back down into Virginia again, you'll find that this is the West Point, right? You can kind of see it on that map. Pretty awesome. Left the D.C. Cornerstone, and now we're at this place for meatballs. Elevator, they entice you to eat meatballs, lingonberry sauce. Delicious. Aren't these like minnow coolers you can get from like Green Top for like a couple of dollars? Yeah, it's totally what it looks like to me. It totally feels that way too. $40 for that minnow cooler? That's insane. Look at that. That's a minnow cooler. No, thank you. The bin for all your orangutan storage needs. You just throw them in the bin. I'll have fun shopping. I'll just be here watching this cool television. Is this your house, Emmett?
What's this?
Emmett, is this your house?
What's this? What's this do?
It's like your iPad.
And what's it cost?
$14.
$26.
$40.
I can't afford that.
You can't afford that?
Well, that was a sickly step.
I thought you were gonna live here forever.
I'm not leaving here.
No?
Okay. Final block. You're gonna I did that. Yeah, you're. I beat.
Oh, where did Finn go? Finn, are you in there?
Hello.
A Finn is born.
Let me fix my. My chair for you.
Yeah, ever since he hatched out of the egg in Animal Kingdom.
Get out. Hey.
At the office.
Get out. This is a field.
What's making over there?
2 milkshakes for an son. Then we had more tablespoons coming. Okay. Do you want some coffee, Zoe? Yes. Okay.
Nope.
Here.
Nope.
Ooh, ooh. You're welcome.
Not with the breakables.
No. Well, your things are ready, Zoe. Here. Now, what else do you want, Zoe? Oh, I don't know. Oh, sorry, that's okay, Zoe. Oh, Phil, we have more customers coming up. Okay, here's your grilled cheese sandwich.
What did you find, Finn?
King of the animals!
The plush throne. Oh, and here's the best part of like coming to IKEA. The lingonberry drink. And the meatballs. And the lingonberry sauce. So while we were at IKEA, we happened to notice a staircase going up a hill, so I went up to see what the heck it was. And it turns out it's an old cemetery, the Nash family cemetery. Pretty daggone cool, huh? Next time you're in town in Woodbridge at Potomac Mills, y'all come by and see the Nashes and say hello. Good morning. So today we're out in King and Queen County doing some family history and stopped here at Mattaponi Church right along Route 14, the trail, to take a look at the cemetery here and go see my great aunt. There's Mattaponi Church there, built between 1730 and 1734. And of course this is the cemetery. And I thought we had some family members up here by the front, but we don't. Looks like all of our family members are way back there. But I just saw something I don't remember seeing before, so we're gonna take a look at that. I know this is hard to see, but this is Alfred Bagby, and he wrote a lot of history of King and Queen County, and it's good stuff. So if you're ever trying to do any family history and they live in King and Queen or were in King and Queen, check out Alfred Bagby. He's an invaluable resource for anyone trying to do any kind of research on King and Queen. He really did a lot of good work. So here's a closer look at the church. You can see that some of these bricks look like they might be glazed. Here, looks like somebody tried to carve their name in it. Or something. 1941. I don't know what it looks like inside. I wish. Looks pretty churchy. And here's the back door. I still don't know if we can see inside the windows. I say pews. Screens are kind of, I don't know if they're here or not, but you know, our family is descended from the Eubanks, and the Eubanks, one of the Eubanks, crossed the Delaware with Washington. on that Christmas night. But, and I thought some of them were here, but it doesn't look like it. So, anyway, we're gonna peel out, go to the next stop, which is the old home place. Let's see what we can see. Another view of the church. You see it's a Virginia Historic Landmark. And I wish the screen doors weren't there, you know. Just kind of throws off the appearance of the church. When, you know, in 1737. Pretty awesome. And I have a picture of my grandparents, which I'll put in right here. Standing in front of the church. I believe it is windy and chilly. I did not plan for this weather. So I said we were going by the old home place, and we did, except the old home place is gone, and it was gone the last time I went up, but it was there the first time I went up, and here's a picture of what it looked like. I'm not sure why the picture's in black and white. I had a color picture of it. But I can't seem to locate the color picture, but here's the black and white picture. And this is the old home place. So here's the story. My great-great-grandfather, John, was in the Civil War. Like most people from Virginia, he served in the Confederacy. And while he was in the service, he became friends with a man named Sam. And after the war, Sam and John, Sam already owned the house, and John came to work on the farm with Sam. And then one thing led to another, and John married Sam's daughter. And that's how I'm here. And this is the house that they lived in. When Sam died, he left the house to John and his daughter, Elnora. And hello, 160 some years later, here I am. So now we're at a Lower King and Queen Baptist Church, which has got a fancy new build to it from the last time I was here. It's all brick now. It was white siding. And this is like ground zero for my family, right? There's family members all over the place in this cemetery. And one time I tried to go in there, and there were cars in the parking lot, and I tried to ask about the cemetery or if they had any cemetery records. Nobody would answer the door. So I didn't find out very much. But what I do know is I'm standing in the middle of a bunch of family that I never got to meet or know anything about, but one of them shares my name. Here it is. There's my name. That's where my name came from. And here's what he looked like. That's my great-great-grandfather, Archie. So here's the interesting thing about the church across from the cemetery where most of my family is buried and where this church now stands. So this is Lower King and Queen Baptist Church, or Ware's Church. So there was a church here that was built in 1771 or 1770, whatever, 1772. There you go. So if you look down here, it says the church here burned on February 2nd, 1919. That was the church that Archibald over there built here. After of course the Civil War, But Archibald Eubank was the builder of that church, a brick church. But it burned down, and then they replaced it with this wooden framed Victorian style church in 1920. It looks like that church has since been either built over top of or torn down, and then this new church was built here. But that's the history. So we stopped into the last place. I know there's, well, I skipped over one church that I know where we have family members. And I came to this one. This is the old church. And it's an old church. Believe it or not. I'm not really sure. This also looks like 1700s. It looks like from the same time period as Mattaponi. There's a historic marker down there. I'll go run down there and take a look at it. Probably has an actual date on it of when this one was built. And I was walking around the front of it, and I've never seen one of these on a building before. Usually on a rock or in the ground near it. I've never seen one actually on a building, which is kind of crazy. It's a bench mark. It's on the building. I don't think we can see in, huh? So I guess this is also known as Colonial Church, Old Church or Colonial Church, built in 1767. Fell into disuse after the Revolution, but later became a Methodist church. That is fascinating, isn't it? Look at that. Beautiful. I love... Woo! I love an old church. So much history, right? Seen so much. It's a shame. These guys are, you can just barely see what's left of them. And maybe we had like the paper and so we could scratch it out or rub it out, you know. Do a rubbing. And you read the words there. But gosh. You can just barely see it. It almost looks like this one's been broken and they replaced it with this concrete. Gosh. So, man, downtown West Point, really nice. The only thing I've ever seen is that main street through town. But it's really nice. I suggest taking a drive through downtown West Point. It's really nice. It's the confluence of the Mattaponi and the Pamunkey here in West Point. It's rough today. Nice little beach. Did you know that Chesty Puller was born in West Point and grew up in West Point? I had no idea. So right here off of Azalea Avenue, this is a place called Pine Knot. It was a tuberculosis sanitarium. I believe that's the right word. And back in the early part of the 1900s, when my great-grandfather moved from King and Queen, he moved down, worked on the streetcars, and then he opened his own shop. And it was about right where I'm standing here, where this private parking, our store is, I believe. Somewhere in this area. And this is where he had his own shop. And then he cut his hand, and it got infected. And in 1930 whatever, before antibiotics were widely used, he got an infection, and then the infection killed him, and he died at the ripe old age of 35 years old. So, just so you know, I'm not making things up. Like, I have his death certificate, and it looks like this. And you can see it was 1925, I said 1930 something, but it was 1925, so before antibiotics are being used everywhere for everything, you know. So that's why medicine is a good thing. It's a real good thing. And as you can see from here, the doctor's explanation, a small cut. Can you imagine all the small cuts that you get in every day? I mean, I cut my thumb off with a knife chopping up vegetables one night. Can you imagine if that had gotten infected? That's what I imagine that happened to old John here. And that was it. That's all it took. Let's start here, because everything has to start somewhere. So let's start at the Civil War. So during the war, the courthouse got burned. So all the records that were in that courthouse, poof, gone up in flames. What happened prior to the war? It's a mystery. I know that there were Gibsons at Jamestown, 1610, 1609. They weren't on the 1607 trip, but they show up around 1609. Where are those? Are those Jamestown fellas? My fellas? I don't know. Can't tell you. But I know that in 1850, because that's the last time I have records, maybe, yeah, 1850, John First is living in King and Queen. Where his parents are, I don't know. I have an idea. I don't know for sure. John becomes a Confederate. John goes into war, makes it through the war, gets injured in the war, makes it through the war, marries Sam's daughter, gets the house, has 5 kids or so. A couple of those kids move to Richmond. John II, my great-grandfather, works on streetcars, starts his own shop, gets cut on his hand, and dies. His family, my grandfather, my great-uncle, my great-aunt, get split up. My great-uncle and my great-aunt go to live back in King and Queen. Not really sure what happened to my grandfather. Not sure where he went. I know he dropped out of school, but beyond that, who knows? And then eventually my dad is here. My dad's born in Richmond. I'm born in Richmond. That's the long and the short, or really the short story of how it came to be. Hey, family history is fantastic. And all this, think about all the stuff you get into and you don't even realize it, like antibiotics, like what, not having antibiotics in 1925 kind of sounds like bonkers, right? But yeah, here's this story about antibiotics. Also, if you notice, the signature on the death certificate is Walter Plecker. If you know Walter Plecker, that's a whole thing, and it'll come up again shortly. You know, I don't know what it is, but you start researching things and the other things pop up, and it seems like they're all connected. I don't know. But yeah, so well, thanks for coming along. I know this is not the biggest adventure ever, but it's been the adventure of my life, I guess. Or one of the adventures of my life, right? Digging into this stuff, trying to find, how do I move past the burning of the courthouse? I've had my boots on the ground. And just seems to be such a blockade, just a roadblock that it's just so hard to move beyond. It'd be nice if some of those folks that I know are out there, I know y'all are out there somewhere, would shoot me a line. I know I've talked to some of the Eubanks before, but haven't really got much help. So, anyway. Mysteries. I love them. And that's what family history is. So if you're into, like, mysteries, dig into your own family history. And mysteries for days. For days and days and days and days. And you can solve it. You got the... You got it. It's just work. Anyway. Thanks for coming along. Really appreciate it. See you on the next one. See you.